Welcome back to Jock Culture channel, where I'll be tackling difficult questions around intellectual property, culture, and cultural heritage. Today, I want to talk about whether or not cultural appropriation is racist. Is it racist? Some people argue that cultural appropriation is making things worse in American society. Bill Maher had something out the other day saying that this is a terrible thing. It's going to stifle cultural mixing. And I saw a recent New York Times article about Native heritage and cultural appropriation. And the comments were really very interesting. So some people feel that this is a racist kind of idea. And there are a couple things I want to point out. First of all, when we talk about cultural appropriation, we're talking generally about taking and using somebody's culture in ways that could be considered disrespectful. There's always a power imbalance in the cultural appropriation dynamic, and that often gets missed. That's one thing. Secondly, not everything is cultural appropriation. The term gets thrown around and used really loosely, and I think this is where the law can actually help, because we do have a concept of appropriation, but before something can be appropriated, we have to first acknowledge that it belongs to someone. So I want to just put a but on that. I'll come back to that point later. I want to focus today on, is it racist? The dispute between
Nicki Minaj
and actor Michael B. Jordan is actually quite illustrative. So we have a Trinidadian-born American rapper, singer, and Michael B. Jordan, who's an African-American actor. Michael B. Jordan and his partner launched Juve Rum, and this generated a lot of backlash in the Trinidadian and some other parts of the Caribbean community, because Juve is a Caribbean festival, a Trinidadian festival that has a rich cultural history and heritage, and people were very upset that Michael B. Jordan was using this name for his rum. So somebody made a comment about it and about the history of freedom from slavery and how it shouldn't just be used on this product and commercialized by Michael B. Jordan. And Nicki Minaj, as a Trinidadian American, reposted that, well, it was an Instagram, not Twitter. She reposted the Instagram, and Michael B. Jordan then did the mea culpa, I'm sorry, and then said he would rebrand. So a couple things that we see there. One, these are two brown people, and really the dispute became one about culture, right? About Trinidadian culture and about somebody outside of the culture using it for commercial context. That's one part of it. So the misuse of the history as it was perceived. Secondly, there was probably the misperception, I think, at some level that, if he trademarks Juve, maybe other people can't use it, which is not actually correct. But we really see that if you look at those kind of examples, it's not just about race, right? It's about people who have a history, and there's this sort of post-colonial history around freedom from enslavement, and that was something that was personal to the people that were complaining about it. And it wasn't like a white on black thing or anything like that. It's like, you're not part of this community, and so you don't just get to use the terminology in that way. So, is cultural appropriation racist? I'm going to say no. I think it's a very easy way to dismiss it as being racist without looking at the many times there have been conflicts within people that are either from the same racial group or people who are minorities from different groups. I mean, whether it's, singers being called out for using Native headdress when they're not Native, or in this instance, we have Michael B. Jordan having been called out for using Juve when he's not Trinidadian. So there are a couple things about this, though, as to whether or not he needed to go back and rebrand, and I'm going to talk about that later, because cultural appropriation and cultural sensitivity, whether we like it or not, is something that is here to stay. It's important to people, and it's actually not true when people say that the law never protects things if you were the first one. So that I want to clear up in responding to Bill Maher's comment that, hey, if you're the first, it doesn't mean you get to own it forever. Let's talk about that next video. Thank you for joining me.